So in this video on opportunities functionality within Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales, I'm going to cover off how you can make your opportunity management work a little bit more like an Excel spreadsheet. Now, this is one in a series we've done specifically on opportunity functionality within Dynamics. You can see links to others in the series below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, let's dive into the system and I'll show what I mean. So I'm in the opportunities area. Specifically, I'm in an all opportunities view. And we're in what is described as a read-only grid. So there's not a lot I can do with this. If I double click on it, I go into the underlying record. Now, to frame this, let's just have a sort of quick history lesson. So back in the very, very early days of what's now become CRM, the system really started off around contact management, so tracking our key contacts and the interaction we have with them, and very specifically around scheduling future activities and knowing what those activities are about. Now, over time, probably the second key feature to arrive was what became known as opportunity management. But effectively what it was taking was the salesperson's Excel forecast and systemizing that, bringing that into the database. Now, while that was great for the company, I think there was a lot of resistance from salespeople who found that a considerably more onerous chore. Now, let me explain why. So we all know how an Excel spreadsheet works, and it's very easy to update a cell. Now, let's say that we wanted to update one of these records. I've got this one here. Interest in your services from Acme Limited. Now, if I'm the salesperson, I'm working on my forecast and I realize I wanted to change something, so I wanted to change the estimated close date because it's moving out beyond the end of August. In order to do that, I now need to double click on the record, open it all up. I'm going to go to the top tab here, change the estimated close date, scroll down, let's say it's gone out to the end of October, click clear of that, and I'm going to save that. Save it and go back into my opportunities area and move on to the next record. So you can see from that there's a reasonable amount of friction attached to that. So that's the reason why I think salespeople have been quite reticent to sort of adopt the opportunity management side of CRM. Now, there is a way of making your system perform a lot more like an Excel spreadsheet. So let me explain that. So I'm in an all opportunity view at the moment. If I change that now and I go to my open opportunities, you'll see the view is slightly different. So now this view is what is called an editable grid, and I can update these components as I see fit. So if I think that one is no longer an estimated revenue of £1,600, I can double click on it, make the change I need to make. Let's say it's going to be 1,800 now. And if I want to change the probability, I can shift that to 30. So it's performing pretty much exactly like an Excel spreadsheet is. So I'm editing it in the grid and it's changing the underlying records straight away. Now, it doesn't come out of the box like this. Typically, you need to make a really simple change in the background to do that. Now, it's also done on a view-by-view basis. So you don't have to make all of your views editable. You can choose which system views you want to be editable. Now, the purpose of this video is really to explain what's possible in the system and how to use it, rather than the administration and customization of the system. I may well cover that in future series, but just to show a little bit of insight into that, if you can see I've got this tab here, which is the back end of the system, and effectively I've gone to the opportunities table, I've gone to the views area, I've specifically gone to the my open opportunities view, and in order to make that work I just went to a components and added the editable grid component to it. So as a change goes, it's a sort of 2-minute exercise. So if I just go back to my system, you can see that's quite a powerful tool. You do need to be a little bit careful with it. I think it is a little prone to people inadvertently changing records without intending to. So that's one thing to think about. And I think it has the potential of causing a little bit of a disconnect of the salesperson to the CRM system. They become a little bit detached from it. So I think that's a consideration. Now, there is another, if I go back to all opportunities, there is another kind of way of using Excel to do opportunity management. And I'm slightly hesitant to cover this, but I will anyway. So if we go to the three dots, you can see I've got an export to Excel function. And what I can do is click on the arrow to the right of that. And I've got one here called Open in Excel Online, which is what I'm going to do. This might take a second or two to open. Now it's gone very quickly. And that's opened up Excel. And I could update a record here or multiple records here in Excel. So I could work on my forecast effectively in Excel. So let's say this one's going to be 23,000 revenue. So I've just changed that. So 6 orders, product SKU. If I save that now, so I made the change in Excel external to the system, but the change is going to be posted back into the CRM system. If I save it, just wait a second or two while that. Now, it's effectively acting like an import. So I could track its progress. In fact, I will, or I could just cancel out of it, and in due course, it will work. So if I go to track progress, we'll probably have to wait on this, but you can see at the top here, there's this import that's running in the background, so that any changes I've made in that Excel Online now come back into the system. I can just go into that specifically, and at the moment nothing's happened on that, but if I refresh it, you'll see it's updated that one record now. So that is something to be used with great caution. I'm not sure that I would give that to salespeople as a whole. You might give it to specific individuals and maybe people that may be able to use that. I think it's a little bit dangerous in that you could end up making quite significant changes inadvertently back into the system, but it is another potential way of kind of using Excel or Excel type features to speed things up in CRM. Anyway, hopefully that's been helpful in just understanding how we can make CRM a little bit more Excel-like. As I say, it's just one in a series we've done specifically on opportunities functionality within Dynamics. You can see links to others in the series below. Also, you've got any suggested content ideas, you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below. Anyway, thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully see you again soon.